Mr. Chairman, I think I'll kick this off just briefly. I want to thank you and Senator Needleman and Vice Chairs Winfield and Ali Brennan and ranking members Formica and Ferraro for raising Bill 6415 for a public hearing. We've talked a lot about environmental justice recently, and a lot of that is focused on righting wrongs of the past. And what this bill is about is righting wrongs of today, where utility companies, and we saw this all summer with just, horrible storm response, and I'm so proud of the work that Pura has done, are running roughshod over their neighbors. And to make this point, I've submitted testimony, you can read it, but I want to yield my time to a constituent who has dealt with this firsthand, and that is Ms. Stephanie Johnson. So if we could promote her to be able to speak. And Stephanie, if you can turn on your camera and share with the committee what you've experienced.
Give me 1 second. Our property has been destroyed because of what UI and Eversource has come in and done. I've written something out, and I'm just going to read it. And then if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Again, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Stephanie Johnson, with our then 1-year-old. We chose this house for a few reasons, the huge private backyard being one of them. Neither my husband nor I grew up with big yards, and that's one thing we wanted our kids to have. We ended up having 4 within 4 years, so having a big private playground for them was wonderful. We knew the substation was there, and we were aware of our responsibility regarding the right-of-way and maintenance. We never inhibited or prohibited any work to be done until we heard that UI wanted to expand their substation by 40%. We as direct abutters were not initially notified, and come to find out the project had been in the works for 2 years as UI was negotiating with GE to purchase the land that they needed to do it. From the start, we got the feeling that UI was being very sneaky and not following the proper protocols. Not all abutters were initially notified as according to, the rules, and it was a big mess. So finally, they seemed to be friendly and willing to be good neighbors. But the more questions we asked and the more information we pushed for, it became clear that they had no interest in anything other than doing what they wanted to do without any opposition. Their blatant disregard for and dismissal of our community was insulting. Their go-to excuse for not considering our desires and concerns was the cost and their budget. A company with multi-million-dollar bottom lines and executives who make more for Christmas bonuses than most make in a year is complaining about cost, yet spared no expense on lawyers and useless visual aids. So Eversource comes to us then telling us in 2017 that they're clearing out all vegetation in the right-of-way from Milford to Norwalk, but they have it in their budget to give abutting properties additional plantings to compensate for the screening that will be removed. Because of the rules of the right-of-way, we have to plant the trees on our side of the easement, causing us to forfeit use of about 4,000 square feet of our yard. Power lines that are above ground now. We have a power plant in our backyard, and all of the screening that was left there and the vegetation that is now not there, provided protection and provided, some safety for, my kids growing up never knew that thing was back there, and thank God, because, it is dangerous. But now we are in absolutely full view of their property. And subsequently, Sacred Heart has also removed tons of vegetation. So now we can also see what was the old GE headquarters back there that is now part of Sacred Heart property. So we're getting, floodlights and to light pollution and everything from them also. But they see, the representatives from UI and Eversource have seen the devastation and everything what we have to look at on a daily basis, and they just...
Sorry, so the solution you want is outlined in the bill. You want the stipulation that they make the plantings and maintain them and ensure that you no longer have to put up with this eyesore. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
If I could interject as well to answer your question, Representative Cheeseman, the bill specifies a natural barrier. And honestly, I think from where the neighbors came from initially, it doesn't have to necessarily be trees. They've proposed, putting in some kind of a barrier wall, something to just shield where you bought your home and lived for decades, knowing there was a power plant behind you. But it not only was expanded, it was completely revealed. So you have an industrial power plant directly in your backyard, totally unscreened. I think, in part of the deal with maybe offering some plantings was a refusal to even help those plantings get started. So if somebody's backyard is going to be re-landscaped with multiple trees, at the minimal, put in, a 1-year maintenance to just ensure they root and grow. These are not extreme, requests. And the bill, I don't think, asks for extremities. And quite honestly, if a utility company was going to be a good neighbor and a corporate citizen, you would think they would take those steps voluntarily.
Yes. You're not asking for $1,000, the high-end stockade fencing festooned with orchids or anything like that, which of course would be lovely, but
hey, if that's what you want to give me, I'll take it.
Okay.
But no, we've never asked for anything that was unreasonable, just to keep our investment. If we were pushed into the unfortunate circumstance of having to sell our home, we're not going to get even what we bought for it. We